Part 43. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 421. Now it depends on who has stronger abilities and skills. The Red Bishop has now transformed into the Archon form, and now his various skills have been greatly improved and have various different effects. Therefore, magicians with the form of a mage are the most difficult to deal with. Fang Ye looked at the Red Bishop floating in the air and felt wary. Haha, Fang Ye. If you don't agree to join us, you are really asking for your own death. The power I have now is far greater than before. I even think I can crush you easily. Regret it? Regret that you did not choose to join us, you will definitely die here today. The Red Bishop lowered his head slightly and looked at Fang Ye with a ferocious smile on his face. He disappeared instantly and appeared in front of Fang Ye in almost the blink of an eye. Time is slow. Black hole. Meteorite. Disintegration ray. A series of skills came crashing down on Fang Ye, and every move he made was a forbidden skill, and there was no need to read the skill. It can almost be said that he said what he said. But Fang Ye was not to be outdone, and he improved himself crazily. Power, and then used the ultimate free will power to quickly dodge. It must be said that the Red Bishop's set of combos is very vicious. First, he uses time slowdown and black hole skills to limit his movement, and then uses the powerful skill Meteorite to cause a large area flame magic damage. Finally, he used the burst output disintegration ray to attack Fang Ye, trying to use the gradually increasing damage of the disintegration ray to seriously injure Fang Ye. If Fang Ye did not have the ability of holy words, I am afraid that he would really be connected by this set. The move was an instant kill. Fang Ye used the ability of the holy words and combined with the self-extreme intention kung fu, it can be said that the speed of movement was almost indistinguishable to the naked eye. He first cleverly avoided the slow time and the black hole, and then moved quickly again, avoiding the fatal magic attack meteor and disintegration ray. Humph, it seems you still have a problem. Then take a look at this trick. I saw the Red Bishop pull out the dagger from his waist, and then waved his hand violently, and saw countless sword lights tearing apart the void and slashing towards Fang Ye. The attack speed was extremely fast, and Fang Ye just felt the knives. The light, but the next second it was already in front of his forehead. So fast. Fang Ye was taken aback. He hurriedly dodged to the side, and at the same time he also performed the self-extreme intention kung fu. His body seemed to be integrated with the void, and the whole person disappeared in place. All of this was in place. It was completed in the blink of an eye. The Red Bishop was not surprised to see Fang Ye dodge these attacks, because he had expected this. In any case, he is now in the form of a law protector, and this kind of speed is very important to him. It's nothing, as long as he has enough time, he will be able to react. Do you think you can escape if you run away? Let me tell you, it's the same wherever you run away. The Red Bishop continues to attack, only to see those swords constantly attacking Fang Ye's position. The power of these sword lights is much stronger than the time slowdown and disintegration rays just now, and they can even cut open the space at will. It seems that my guess is correct. He is not use all your power. Although he said this, Fang Ye still did not give up resistance. Now he just wants to delay time. The Red Bishop with the magician skill can now delay time infinitely, blink infinitely, and the CD of various skills has been greatly increased. Reduced. Therefore, it is unrealistic to defeat the Red Bishop who is currently in the state of being an Archon. He can only wait for an opportunity. Fortunately, this Archon state has a time CD. But Fang Ye forgot how long the Archon state can last. It's time, but it doesn't matter, he just needs to use the ability of the self-free ultimate intention gong and the holy words to get out of the way quickly. As soon as the Red Bishop's Dharma controller state ends, he can give the Red Bishop a fatal blow and end the battle. Ha! Ha ha, there is absolutely no way you can defeat me. I advise you to kill me quickly to avoid suffering. The Red Cardinal's tone was full of teasing. He knew that his current strength was far superior to Fang Ye, and his goal had never changed. That is to defeat Fang Ye, kill him completely, and stifle Fang Ye's growth. You must know that it took more than 30 years for his current strength to reach this point under the dedicated training of the organization. But Fang Ye only lived for a short year or two. This kind of speed of improvement was unheard of for him. You must know that the forbidden areas are very scary, and there is a risk of death at any time, but this Fang Ye has created 7 or 8 forbidden areas in a row, but he still feels that he is able to do it with ease. Therefore, if such people cannot absorb the organization, they can only be killed. This is also the reason why he was about to leave this forbidden place but was waiting for Fang Ye here. Humph, stop talking nonsense, do you think you can defeat me? You must know that your current magic has not even touched the corners of my clothes. Fang Ye said with a sneer. When the Red Bishop heard this, his face darkened, and he snorted. Don't get complacent too soon, it's just the beginning. The Red Bishop chanted a spell angrily and quickly, and suddenly, a strong wave of magic spread out. A dazzling golden light suddenly appeared in the Red Bishop's body, and then the golden light spread quickly, covering the surrounding scenery. Among them, within the golden light, a huge golden half-length skeleton appeared, which was more than 100 meters high. Moreover, this skeleton looked ferocious and terrifying, as if it wanted to swallow everything. The skeleton's arms stretched out, and then slammed downwards. Caught it? Fang Ye was shocked and thought, what kind of skill is this? He remembered that the magician profession in Diablo did not have this skill. Ha 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 ha, Fang Ye, you think I only went to Diablo? The world? Let me tell you, I know more than just that one skill. This is one of the ultimate magics I got in another forbidden land, Devouring Grip. If you die under this move, it is considered yours. It's an honor. The Red Bishop said arrogantly. In his opinion, Fang Ye would never be able to avoid his move. He saw the golden half-skeleton arm confining Fang Ye's surroundings, and then grabbed it downwards. Even if Fang Ye used neither the ultimate intention Kung Fu nor the power of thunder could break free from this restraint, and was pinned down. Looking at the skeleton's hand getting closer and closer, Fang Ye was shocked. He knew that he could no longer escape, but if he could escape, if not, then let's fight head on. See who is stronger. A sure kill, a serious punch. Fang Ye immediately activated Saitama's physique. He roared and punched hard forward. Boom! Fang Ye's punch directly hit the palm of the half-skeleton body. Suddenly, the palm exploded. Come on, turn it into little bits of golden energy. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 422. But Fang Ye was not affected at all and still rushed forward. At this time, the Red Bishop once again released the second Dark Realm. The Dark Realm he released this time was more powerful than the previous time-slowing ray, and its power was also many times more powerful. Humph, you still want to trap me with the realm? It's not that simple. Fang Ye snorted coldly, and then a powerful force of thought rushed out, and a light yellow barrier appeared around his body, blocking the energy. Although this dark field is strange, Fang Ye doesn't need to use the ultimate self-intention Kung Fu now. He only needs to rely on his mental protective shield to block it. His main goal was to rush to the Red Bishop as quickly as possible and fight him in close combat. Because he felt that the time for the Red Bishop's guardian form was coming soon, he had to seize this opportunity and kill him with one blow. If he misses this opportunity and is forced to use the form of the Dharma Protector again by the Red Bishop, then Fang Ye may continue to suffer for a while. However, the Red Bishop obviously would not make it easy for Fang Ye. He kept firing black energy balls outside Fang Ye's protective shield. This black energy ball flew in the air, and then kept falling on Fang Ye's protective shield, blasting Fang Ye's protective shield into pieces, but soon these protective shields would be repaired and become extremely strong. Humph, let me see how many times you can last. Looking at the shattered protective shield, the Red Bishop couldn't help but smile contemptuously. Fang Ye ignored the Red Bishop's provocation and just kept rushing forward, trying to get close to the Red Bishop as soon as possible. This guy's protective shield is quite strong, but I don't believe it. If he continues to attack like this, can he keep going? Seeing this, the Red Bishop narrowed his eyes slightly, and then chanted the curse again. As the Red Bishop recited the incantation, the black mist around Fang Ye increased again, and concentrated in a circle, turning into a black bead. The aura emanating from the black bead made Fang Ye feel palpitated incessantly. Damn it, this Red Bishop can even control his magic power to such an extent. What a perversion! Fang Ye couldn't help but curse secretly. At this time, the Red Bishop cast a forbidden magic again, and then the black bead flew forward, arriving in front of Fang Ye in an instant, and then suddenly burst out with a dazzling light, sweeping towards Fang Ye. But Fang Ye ignored it and rushed forward desperately. Now he was not far from the Red Bishop. And he also clearly felt that the Red Bishop's form as a protector could not be sustained for long. Ha ha ha, Fang Ye, aren't you awesome? Let me see if you can withstand this move of mine. The Red Bishop yelled arrogantly, his eyes filled with madness, as if he was looking at his favorite prey. But he didn't know that his favorite prey was ready to take his life. Fang Ye suddenly rushed in front of the Red Bishop, then waved his right hand and punched the Red Bishop hard on the chest. The Red Bishop looked at Fang Ye mockingly, and saw that he was immediately ready to flash. In his opinion, there would still be some time before his status as a law protector disappeared, and this period of time was enough to distance himself from Fang Ye. And by the time Fang Ye rushes over again, I'm afraid his CD in the form of a Dharma protector has already been restored. However, when the Red Bishop was about to flash, he suddenly felt dizzy and the spell he was about to say stopped. But after a moment, the Red Bishop regained consciousness. At this time, he was shocked to find that Fang Ye had rushed towards him. Boom! Suddenly, the Red Bishop was pushed back several meters. His eyes were full of surprise. He really didn't expect Fang Ye to be so fast that he couldn't react at all. Moreover, I fainted for no reason just now. What happened? But he couldn't let him think about it. At this time, Fang Ye had already rushed over. He waved his fists continuously and hit him crazily. He was originally extremely good at long-range magic, but not good at melee combat, so his parry speed was half a beat slower. Fang Ye knocked back the Red Bishop with one punch. His figure immediately stopped, and then rushed forward again, hitting the Red Bishop with continuous punches. Bang, bang. Every punch was very hard, and every punch made the Red Cardinal vomit blood. Damn it! I can't say the spell. Although the Red Bishop had released ice crystal magic in advance, which could offset some of the physical damage, Fang Ye's continuous attacks caused him to be injured. The most terrible thing was that he interrupted his spell casting. Let him have powerful magic, but he can't use any of it, so he can only be beaten passively. Aren't you very arrogant? Why don't you speak? I will let you be arrogant again. Fang Ye said with a cold snort while attacking. Now he has finally seized this opportunity. Now he only needs to launch a fatal blow to completely defeat the Red Bishop. To be honest, there is still some luck in occupying the top. Previously, Yura Harakisuk gave him Bengyo, and he will Bengyo after Jade was inhaled into the body. He felt that his telepathy had been greatly improved. The moment when the Red Bishop was stunned at the critical moment just now was due to the dizziness of the telepathy skills he had learned after the improvement of telepathy. That is, in an extreme period of time, he made the Red Bishop dizzy. The enemy's brain has lost consciousness, and currently Fang Ye can stun the enemy for only about 1 second. But at the critical moment, 1 second is enough. Now Fang Ye punches continuously, hitting the red bishop. He had to kill the red bishop completely in such a short period of time. But after all, the red bishop had many magical defense methods, and the buffs were all added in advance, so it was difficult for Fang Ye to break through in such a short period of time. These defensive magics. Time passed little by little, but Fang Ye still didn't land a fatal blow. After all, the 1 in 1,000 chance was really too shameful. Fang Ye has now punched hundreds of punches, but he still hasn't landed a fatal blow. A fatal blow, and although the red bishop was suppressed and beaten, it did not hurt the root. What he is waiting for now is the CD of the Dharma Protector. As long as the CD improves, he can immediately transform into the Dharma Protector form. As long as he turns on the Dharma Protector. In the form of the Dharma Protector, the situation can be reversed instantly. Fang Ye continued to punch, and each punch was faster and heavier than the last. But when he was about to punch 342 punches, he saw the red bishop suddenly showed a hint of evil smile. Damn Fang Ye, I have to say that you are indeed very powerful, I almost let you win. It's just a pity that victory still belongs to me. In just a split second, the red bishop transformed into the form of a protector. When Fang Ye's punch almost hit him, he immediately flashed out and successfully distanced himself. Haha, victory now belongs to me. The red bishop laughed, with a proud look on his face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 423. But when he was about to release the magic, he suddenly found that the energy condensed in his body suddenly dissipated. Moreover, cracks gradually appeared in his body, which were densely packed and spread from his chest to his whole body at an extremely fast speed. How is this going? How could my power be like this? The red bishop looked at himself in surprise. He couldn't figure out why his body was about to collapse in an instant when he had the upper hand. Fang Ye, who was on the side, couldn't help but be overjoyed after seeing it. Haha! The punch just now was a fatal blow. God helps me. What? Impossible. I am sure of victory, how could I be killed by you? And I clearly dodged that punch just now. The cracks on his body gradually expanded, and the red bishop also knew that he was about to disintegrate, but he never figured out what happened with the punch just now. It's simple, I did it. Suddenly a strange voice came from behind, which surprised both Red Bishop and Fang Ye. They looked around and found that the crystal where the Spirit King was originally had disappeared. But the Spirit King was suspended in the air, faceless. Said with an expression. It's you. The Red Bishop looked at the Spirit King in astonishment, unable to believe his eyes. That's right, outsiders. While you were attacking each other, I was secretly absorbing your power, and now I have broken free and been reborn. As for you, I just slightly tampered with the results. I have many abilities, one of which is to tamper with the results and change things that did not happen to have already happened. Now you know why you were killed. The spiritual king looked at the Red Bishop and said lightly. Why? Why do this? The Red Bishop's aura gradually declined, disintegrating at a speed visible to the naked eye. I'm afraid he won't be able to hold on for long. It's simple, what you are going to do is ruin it all, and I won't allow it. The Spirit King said expressionlessly. Is that so? It's really superficial. Only destruction can lead to rebirth. Don't you understand this truth? It's a pity that after 10 years of planning, it still failed, but I believe we will eventually win and completely change the world. As soon as he finished speaking, the Red Bishop completely disintegrated, and then his entire body dissipated. The spiritual king turned around, looked at Fangye, who looked shocked, and said lightly, "You are Fangye, right? Thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to come out of the crystal so easily." Fangye forced out a smile. "You're welcome. Great, things haven't been settled yet, so come with me." After saying that, the Spirit King tore apart the space casually and walked over. Fangye breathed a sigh of relief. The pressure the Spirit King gave him just now was too strong. If he fought against him, he would most likely lose. But look, it seemed that the Spirit King was on their side, so Fangye breathed a long sigh of relief. But now he still couldn't figure out what the Spirit King wanted to do, so he decided to follow the Spirit King first to see what the Spirit King wanted. What to do? Siritai. In the spirit space constructed by Waiwak, Kurosaki Ichigo still stood there blankly. But in his heart, an earth-shaking war was breaking out. Call. Call. Kid, you are really difficult. Diavolo looked at Kurosaki Ichigo in front of him, with a trace of fear on his face. This guy was really too strong. He tried his best to gain a slight upper hand, but to completely defeat him, I'm afraid it would take a long time. It takes a long time to decide the winner. Damn it! How did this guy become so strong in an instant? Diavolo had no idea what happened to Ichigo Kurosaki. He became very powerful, especially the skills released by his soul-cutting sword. Although there was only one move, it was so powerful that its spells were almost unmatched. If it weren't for with the demon's powerful body, I'm afraid it won't be able to hold on for long. Bone Prison. Diablo quickly released his skills, and saw countless white bone spurs suddenly rising from the ground, forming a circle, and then firmly trapping Kurosaki Ichigo there. Crescent moon clashes in the sky. Kurosaki Ichigo grabbed the soul-cutting sword in his hand and slashed it towards the bone prison. Click, click, click. The wall of bones collapsed instantly, and countless bones fell. The bone fragments falling on the ground made a crackling sound. Bones. Prison. Diavolo used his skills again, and saw one white bone after another rising from the bone prison, once again blocking Kurosaki Ichigo's attack. Boom. 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 The two attacks continued to collide, and the bone cage competed with each other. Once it was seriously damaged and was eventually blown to pieces by Ichigo Kurosaki. If you have any other skills, use them one by one. Now I've almost seen through your moves. Kurosaki Ichigo said calmly. Kid, don't be happy too early. I'll show you the power of hellfire. Diablo was furious. He used his trump card again. He was holding a flaming sword in his hand, and the flaming sword was actually burning with blazing flames. Moreover, the flaming sword had extremely powerful effects. And the dark power almost surprised Kurosaki Ichigo. He clearly felt that there were tens of millions of souls in this flaming sword. Haha, at this time, my artifact, the Hell Sword, although it's just a projection, but it's enough to deal with you. Die, boy. Diavolo sneered, and suddenly swung the Hell Sword in his hand, and the Hellfire drew an arc and rushed towards Kurosaki Ichigo. Whoa! Kurosaki Ichigo dodged the Hell Sword with his body slightly sideways, but was still burned by the flames, leaving a scorched black mark on his clothes. What a strong flame! Kurosaki Ichigo looked at the Hell Sword in shock. The hot breath emanating from the Hell Sword made people feel a little afraid, and the sound of the soul wailing from the Hell Sword kept echoing in his mind, which made Kurosaki Ichigo very uncomfortable, as if it feels like my head is going to explode. My sword of hell has 90 million souls. Most people will go crazy if they hear their painful wails. But you can hold on, which really surprises me. But this way. Can you still have the speed and movement skills you had just now? I'm afraid it's impossible for you to attack now. Diablo said with a ferocious smile. Kurosaki Ichigo's expression changed several times. He felt that his head was buzzing and he could not concentrate on fighting Diavolo. He was originally at a disadvantage, but now I am afraid that the crisis became even more serious. Kurosaki Ichigo gritted his teeth, forced himself to endure it, and tried hard to think of a solution. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 424. How about it? Don't you feel uncomfortable? Then continue to be patient. When your spirit is about to be unable to bear it, I will harvest your soul into this sword. Diavolo said with a sneer. You bastard. Kurosaki Ichigo gritted his teeth and looked at Diablo. This guy was so despicable. Diavolo sneered, the hellfire on the hell sword became more and more intense, and then turned into a pillar of fire and hit Kurosaki Ichigo. Bang! Bang bang! Kurosaki Ichigo quickly dodged, but was splashed by the fire of hell. A burst of green smoke instantly erupted from his body. This green smoke not only burned his skin, but even burned part of his soul to ashes, causing him extreme pain. Roar! Kurosaki Ichigo roared up to the sky. The physical pain and mental torture made him almost lose his mind. Haha, boy, do you know how uncomfortable it is now? Then let me see how long you can hold on? Diavolo laughed. Kurosaki Ichigo gritted his teeth and endured the pain. He must persist and not fall down easily. The final crescent moon clashes. Kurosaki Ichigo knew that he could not continue like this, so he directly used his own unique trick, which was the final Getsuga Tenku. I saw that all the spiritual energy on Kurosaki Ichigo was filled with the surroundings, and was covered with cloth. The package is like a scabbard. Now Kurosaki Ichigo has been fused with his soul Zanbing sword. It can be said that he is now a soul Zanbing sword. The tyrannical power gradually spreads, allowing Diabo to Lua who was secretly surprised. Diavolo is the great demon god. He has seen countless powerful angels and demons, but this is the first time he has seen someone like Kurosaki Ichigo. But after all, with his vicious eyes, it is natural to see that Kurosaki Ichigo has become very strong now, but it also has extremely strong side effects. Boy, I didn't expect you to be so strong, but I'm afraid you can only use this move once. Diavolo squinted his eyes and looked at Kurosaki Ichigo and said coldly. Once is enough to kill you. After saying that, Kurosaki Ichigo rushed towards Diavolo. He waved his hand, and saw the powerful spiritual pressure producing a blade, and slashed towards Diavolo with an unrivaled momentum. Destroy the world. Diablo burst out with powerful magic, and surging dark power emanated from between his arms. There was a loud bang, and an extremely tyrannical force swept towards Kurosaki Ichigo. Poof! When the force hit Kurosaki Ichigo felt a tightness in his chest, and he almost spurted out a mouthful of blood. This is Diavolo's ultimate move, and it is extremely powerful. But Kurosaki, however, Ichigo Kurosaki knew that now was the critical moment, so he gritted his teeth and continued to rush towards Diavolo. Looking at Ichigo Kurosaki, who was so desperate, Diavolo sneered. You little brat, if you are looking for death, then don't blame me for being rude. Death Scythe. I saw a huge scythe appear from the sky, whistling towards Kurosaki Ichigo. Facing the attack of Death Scythe, Kurosaki Ichigo did not dodge, but stretched out his hand. He stretched out a hand and blocked the attack with surging spiritual pressure. Then he rushed in front of Diablo. No moon. I saw Kurosaki Ichigo's right hand thrust into Diavolo's body like a sharp blade. Poof! Diablo looked down at the arm that was pierced on his chest, and he couldn't believe it. This move of yours is really powerful, it can penetrate my defense. Call! Call! Kurosaki Ichigo gasped. He had used almost all his strength in the blow just now. If he hadn't succeeded just now, he would have lost. But fortunately, he had already won. You lose, Diavolo, Now you can get out of my body. After Kurosaki Ichigo finished speaking, he suddenly pulled out his arm. No. How could I lose? This is impossible. Diablo yelled crazily, but no matter how he screamed, it was of no avail. Now it can no longer support its own body and has begun to gradually dissipate. Face the reality, devil. Kurosaki Ichigo said with a sneer. Watching this demon gradually disappear, Kurosaki Ichigo finally found the initiative in his body. When Kurosaki Ichigo opened his eyes, he looked at himself with joy. Finally came back, I thought I almost wouldn't come back. Kurosaki Ichigo secretly rejoiced and said. It seems that you have won, which is really gratifying. At this time, Kurosaki Ichigo discovered that there was still a person standing not far away. This was none other than Aizen Sosuke, who was originally dead. You? Aren't you dead? Kurosaki Ichigo was surprised. When he was sealed, he had felt that Aizen Sosuke was dead, but he didn't expect that he was still alive. Die. How can it be? I just used my soul-cutting sword to make you think I was dead. Aizen said with a sneer. Now I have finally waited for this moment, Kurosaki Ichigo, I have to say, you did a great job. What do you mean? Kurosaki Ichigo was a little confused. He could hardly understand what Aizen was saying. Now that we have reached the final stage, I will not hide it from you. Kurosaki Ichigo, actually I have been observing you. Whether you become a god of death or practice in Soul Society, you are all under my watch. Aizen pushed his eyes and laughed. In fact, it can be said that it was my plan for you to obtain the power of death, but you never knew it. What? What is your purpose for doing this? Kurosaki Ichigo was surprised. Purpose? It's very simple, just take the power from you. I saw Aizen instantly appearing in front of Kurosaki Ichigo, and suddenly reached out to grab the top of his head. Kurosaki Ichigo wanted to escape, but because he had just fought a battle with Diavolo, plus he used Wuo's move again, and now he was very weak. So he moved a little slower, and Aizen caught him on the top of his head. Do you know why that demon has not completely taken over your heart? That's because you have a mysterious power, the power chosen by this world. It protects you. And I have been waiting for the opportunity to seize this power. Aizen looked closely at Kurosaki Ichigo and showed a meaningful smile. I have to say, you really surprised me. He is worthy of being the protagonist of this world, growing up so fast. If I had this power, I'm afraid not to mention this world, even other worlds would tremble under my feet. You. Kurosaki Ichigo felt as if something had been pulled away from him. It was so painful that he couldn't even speak. Do you know how long I have been holding back? Let me tell you, ever since you were born, ever since I knew there were outsiders in this world, I have been planning. Aizen's expression gradually became ferocious, and his eyes gradually became crazy. Now, it's finally time to bear fruit. When I absorb your power, my strength will increase rapidly. At that time, who can stop me? Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 425. At this time, Kurosaki Ichigo only felt that the power in his body was being sucked away by Aizen crazily, and he could not stop it at all. I can only watch helplessly, there is nothing I can do. Stop. At this time, Fangye and the Spirit King rushed to the scene. After Fangye saw this scene, he couldn't help being shocked. He rushed forward and punched Aizen. Aizen was well prepared and immediately dodged away. Looking at Fangye, showing a proud smile. Fangye, you are already late, Kurosaki Ichigo's power already belongs to me. At this time, after Kurosaki Ichigo's power was taken away, he became very weak. He could not even stand firmly and was about to fall down immediately. But he was hurriedly hugged by Fangye. Ichigo, Ichigo. Are you okay? All the power has been sucked away, how can it be okay? But I didn't expect to be tricked by Aizen. Kurosaki Ichigo laughed at himself, then he paused and said slightly apologetically. I'm very weak now. I'm afraid I can't do anything to help you. It's okay, good brother, just take a rest here and leave the rest to me. Fang Ye said comfortingly. Well, that's all up to you. Kurosaki Ichigo also knew that he couldn't help much now, so he could only nodded and agreed. Fang Ye let go of Kurosaki Ichigo, and then walked towards Aizen. That's right, Fang Ye, I thought you would lose to that red bishop, but I didn't expect you to win. It was really beyond my expectation. Aizen said with a smile. When did I fall under your hypnosis? If you were swallowed by Diavolo at that time, I'm afraid it was also the scene after your hypnosis, which made me mistakenly think that you were dead, so I mainly focused on the Red Cardinal and Diavolo. Fang Ye asked. To be honest, Fang Ye has always had a doubt, that is, he has been very careful and has not met Aizen a few times, but he still fell under his hypnosis unknowingly. This I thought that Aizen had died because Diavolo possessed Kurosaki Ichigo, so I missed Aizen. Haha, of course it's the beginning. Aaron said with a smile. He looked at Fang Ye with a proud expression on his face. When we first met, I used my first interpretation of Jinghua Shuiyu. At that time, you thought you could use your own skills to resist hypnosis, but I want to say that that was just what I wanted you to think. In fact, at that time, you had already fallen into my mirror. I have to say that you outsiders are really powerful. You and the Red Bishop are both difficult opponents to deal with, and I have no choice but to do this to seize Kurosaki Ichigo's power. He lowered his head and looked at his right hand, with a look of satisfaction on his face. I know that Ichigo Kurosaki is the protagonist of this world. This is also the conclusion I came to after many hours of observation after you came. I am not willing to fail like this, nor am I willing to be at the mercy of fate, so I want to get the destiny given to Ichigo Kurosaki by this world. I planned all of this, and although there were some twists and turns, fortunately, I succeeded. Fang Ye, if I guess correctly, there should be many more worlds like ours, and your world is the channel connecting these worlds. Perhaps it should be more accurate to say that it is the center. Am I right? Aaron looked at Fang Ye and said calmly. Although he used a question, Fang Ye knew that Aaron was extremely sure now. Fang Ye pursed his lips and said nothing. It was the first time he discovered that Aizen was so difficult to deal with. People have guessed all this almost by virtue of their own intelligence. So, our world is like your fenced garden, you pick and take what you want. Am I right? Well, Fang Ye, let me tell you, I am not reconciled, so I will unify this world, then go to your world, and then conquer there. Then I will conquer another world until my wish is fulfilled. Fang Ye was silent for a while and then asked. What is your wish? To be honest, I've always been curious about your purpose. Lan Ran looked at Fang Ye and showed a smile. There are many unreasonable things in this world, so I just want to reshape the world and shape it according to my wishes. Originally, I wanted to get the Spirit King behind you to complete this matter, but now I have a better idea, which is to seize the identity of Kurosaki Ichigo's chosen son. Only in this way can I get rid of my previous destiny and create a new future. Fang Ye listened. He looked at Aizen and didn't know what to say. He had always regarded these forbidden areas as game copies. The people here were almost all NPCs, but now Aizen gave him the feeling is that the NPC suddenly awakened and was about to invade reality from the virtual world. This kind of magical event actually appeared in Aizen, which greatly surprised Fang Ye. This is not right. Our world and their world are equal. If you do this, it will cause a series of chain reactions, causing countless worlds to be destroyed under your ambition. The Spirit King behind Fang Ye stood up. He looked at Aizen and said lightly. I knew you disagreed with me, Spirit King. You are too weak. No wonder the five nobles sealed you in the crystal back then. You didn't say a word and were willing to be treated so cruelly by them. Aaron looked at the Spirit King with a trace of disdain on his face. No, if sacrificing me alone can make the world a better place, then what's the harm in sacrificing me? The Spirit King shook his head and retorted. Huh, how pedantic. It seems that your brain has been damaged by the long-term seal. Although you have been released from the seal, you may not be able to stop me. Aizen said with a cold snort. You have to try it before you know. Anyway, I won't let you be so willful. The Spirit King said lightly, and the spiritual pressure on his body began to gradually emanate from his body. Fang Ye, you and I work together. Although I came out of the seal, my strength is not even 1/10 of what it was before. So we need you and me to work together to defeat him. The Spirit King suddenly turned his head, looked at Fang Ye, and said lightly. Fang Ye nodded. He had actually made up his mind to fight against Aizen. It has to be said that if a conspirator like Aizen comes to the world, I'm afraid this is a disaster. Although there are countless people stronger than him in their world, if Aizen goes, it will only be a matter of time before he conquers the world with his own wisdom and scheming. And by that time, it may be too late to stop him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 426. Want to stop me? I'm afraid neither of you are a match. After saying that, Aizen sneered and pulled out his soul-cutting sword. At this time, Fang Ye was extremely nervous. He had already been hypnotized by Aizen's Kukasuijutsu once, and now it was difficult for him to distinguish what was reality and what was its illusion. Don't worry, if you are deceived by him, I have a way to help you. The Spirit King said with determination. Fang Ye was relieved. After all, the Spirit King is the most powerful person in the world, so he said there is a way. Die. I saw Aizen immediately releasing his spiritual pressure, and saw the powerful aura coming out, making Fang Ye almost unable to breathe, but Fang Ye still gritted his teeth and held on. Yes, he was able to resist my spiritual pressure. Only in this way can he, it's fun, take the move. Saying that, Aizen used the soul-cutting sword, and saw countless sword lights appearing in the air, overwhelming Fang Ye and the Soul King. Oops. So fast? Aizen's speed is too high. Quickly, Fang Ye couldn't react at all. He immediately used his last defensive move, Armed Color Haki. In an instant, Fang Ye hurriedly formed a shield outside his body to block Aizen's attack. All the attacks fell on the shield. On the top, he cut out cracks one by one. Seeing that all his attacks were blocked, Aizen was stunned. He did not expect that this Fang Ye could block his attacks so easily. This was simply beyond his knowledge. Haha. Your defense is really good, but now you have no effect. I will kill you, just like crushing an ant to death. After saying that, Aizen sneered twice and directly used Radiation Break. Skill. I saw ultra-high density spiritual pressure rushing towards Fang Ye and the Spirit King. I won't let you hurt Fang Ye. The Spirit King snorted coldly. He stretched out his hand and easily blocked Aizen's spiritual pressure. You and I have different opinions, so I can't let you live. After saying that, the Spirit King stretched out his hand, and a strong wind blew up around him, immediately blowing away the spiritual pressure. If you want to kill me, it depends on whether you have the ability. Aizen said sternly. In a flash, he was already at the side of the Soul King. He waved his arm, and a powerful spiritual blade appeared in his palm, slashing towards the Soul King's spiritual blade storm. After saying that, the spiritual blade in Aizen's hand immediately changed, from the original slender spiritual blade to a thick spiritual blade. This kind of spiritual blade is more than a foot long, with the light blue electric light looks very strange. Be careful. This is Aizen's unique skill. Fang Ye quickly reminded the Soul King. Don't worry, I know what to do. After saying that, the Soul King immediately raised his right hand and waved it slightly. All those spirit blades turned upside down and stabbed towards Aizen instead. Aizen snorted coldly when he saw this. You want to use my moves to deal with me? You are not overestimating your own abilities. I saw Aizen push forward with his right hand and heard a sound. There was a loud noise, and a super long spiritual energy storm was seen rushing towards the Spirit King. The spiritual energy storm was very powerful, as if it could cut the mountain into pieces. The Spirit King did not dare to neglect when he saw this, and moved his hands together. I saw the surrounding spiritual energy gathering, forming a huge shield to block Aizen's spiritual energy storm. At this time, I saw the smile on Aizen's face getting thicker and thicker. Even these gadgets wanted to stop me? What a foolish dream. After saying that, he flicked his right hand again, and saw those spiritual energy storms blasting towards the Spirit King in an instant. When the Spirit King saw this scene, his eyes were full of solemnity, and the shield in front of him was in the deep spiritual energy. Under the transmission of power, it became larger and more solid. The spiritual power storm hit that huge shield, and was directly blocked by that shield. The spiritual power storm hit that shield, and there was no pause at all. Continue to rush forward, as if it is endless. Each wave is higher than the last wave, and the spiritual power storm also contains a layer of faint flames. The flames are very hot, as if they can burn everything. Looking at this scene, the Spirit King frowned. Although he could withstand attacks like Aizen's, if he consumes his spiritual energy for a long time, he may have to consume all his spiritual energy before he can defeat Aizen. Thinking of this here, the Spirit King no longer hesitated and immediately used a powerful skill, spiritual power, to transform into a dragon. I saw a huge spiritual energy flying out from the Spirit King's body, turning into a dragon in the air. Opening its bloody mouth, he rushed towards Aizen. Upon seeing this, Aizen no longer hesitated and directly used his ultimate radiation breaking skill. He saw the ultra-high-density spiritual power almost roaring and rushed towards the Spirit King. The attacks of the dragon and radiant Po collided, creating a powerful shockwave that spread around, destroying all the surrounding plants. Under the powerful shockwave, the huge dragon body was shattered by the impact. The spiritual energy was also dissipated. Seeing this scene, Aizen showed a disdainful expression. It is ridiculous for a mere ant to try to cause any harm to me. After saying that, Aizen waved his hands again, and two more spiritual energy, the Force Storm, attacked the Soul King. But suddenly, Aizen felt a sweetness in his throat, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. His demeanor instantly became sluggish, as if he had been seriously injured. How is this going? Aizen was surprised. He never thought that he had broken Aizen's skills just now. Why would he still cause harm to him? It's just a change of cause and effect. Seeing that Aizen was injured, the Spirit King smiled. My skill is to be able to modify the actual outcome as long as I determine the outcome. So although you destroyed my skill, I judged that the skill was effective, so you were naturally injured. After hearing what the Soul King said, Aizen showed a sneer. Soul King, don't be happy too early. I just let you succeed for a while. You must know that I am the person chosen by God. No matter what, I will always win. After saying that, Aizen just took 2 or 3 breaths, and his injuries were healed. Since you want to die so much, then I will make it happen for you. After saying that, Aizen once again used the ultimate radiation break. Boom! Spiritual energy poured into Aizen's body crazily, and his spiritual pressure became stronger and stronger, as if he could swallow everything. It's finally time for me to fight back. After saying that, Aizen suddenly stretched out his hands, and the powerful impact instantly rushed towards Fangya and the Spirit King, turning everything he touched into scorched earth. After Fangya saw this scene, he immediately used the ability of the holy text to move quickly in space to avoid the attack. But the Soul King stood there motionless, stretched out his hand, and saw that Aizen's skills were immediately judged to be invalid, and disappeared in an instant. Even the corners of the Soul King's clothes were not damaged. This skill is too strong. Fang. Ya said in secret surprise. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 427. But Aizen didn't panic at all. He seemed to have already known it, and still had a smile on his face. Your ability is indeed very powerful, but you have not fully recovered your strength now. You can probably only use it 4 or 5 times at most. Next, I'm going to get serious. I want to see how many moves you can stop me from. After Aizen finished speaking, he used his soul-cutting sword again. I saw countless sword lights slashing towards each other. The speed was so fast that it was almost impossible to dodge. But the Spirit King remained motionless. When those swords struck in front of the Spirit King, they stopped one by one and were suspended in mid-air. Aizen was a little surprised. He saw that the light of his sword dissipated almost instantly. Don't worry, I haven't used many of my abilities yet, I think they are enough to defeat you. The Spirit King said slowly. Delusional. Aizen snorted coldly, and he immediately used his spiritual pressure, and saw boundless auras surge up from his body. The momentum shot straight into the sky, as if it was about to burst the entire sky. Aizen thrust forward with both hands. Roar! A giant dragon formed by spiritual pressure roared out from Aizen's palms. The giant dragon was huge, 10 meters long. It looked up to the sky and roared, bared its teeth and claws, and rushed towards the Soul King. The Spirit King looked at the huge dragon with a solemn expression in his eyes. He stretched out his hand and saw huge energy gathering in his hand. Boom! The two figures collided together, and a violent sound spread throughout the sky, as if even the sky was trembling. Boundless spiritual power swept across wantonly, and the entire space seemed to be distorted. Everything became illusory, as if it was going to happen at any time. Generally broken. Click, click. There was a fragile sound, like the sound of glass being shattered. A thick stone pillar next to Aizen could not withstand such a huge impact and broke into countless pieces in an instant. After the blow, Aizen moved back to his original position and landed firmly on the ground. Seeing the Soul King standing there motionless, Aizen was a little surprised. Could it be that the Soul King was so powerful that he could easily block his own blow? The Spirit King slowly raised his head and said, "It's my turn now, right?" After saying that, the other figure suddenly disappeared and appeared in front of Aizen a moment later. Then he raised his fist and hit Aizen. Seeing the whistling sound caused by the fist, Aizen felt a chill in his heart. He did not dare to neglect and immediately used his best moves. Ghost Path 5 Dragons Reborn. I saw Aizen moving his arms together, and the soul-cutting sword in his hand released powerful spiritual pressure, forming 5 giant dragons, and faced the Soul King's fist with open teeth and claws. Boom! The two attacks collided together, causing a huge explosion. Endless shock waves swept out instantly. The entire Sci-fi began to shake violently, and countless stones fell down. Aizen and the Soul King stood motionless. At this time, Aizen looked at the Soul King and couldn't help but frown. Although this Spirit King is only less than 1/10 of his original strength, he is still able to withstand his own moves with ease. It seems that this spiritual king has indeed lived up to his reputation. But now that I have gained the power of Ichigo Kurosaki, even the Soul King is no match for him. Well, let me show you my true power. The final crescent moon clashes. I saw that Aizen's spiritual energy wanted to spread around him in an instant. His spiritual energy wrapped himself inside, like a silkworm chrysalis, which contained powerful power. No, it seems that he succeeded in taking away Kurosaki Ichigo's power, and he even took away Getsuga Tenshou. Fangya, who was on the side, was taken aback. He knew that Aizen could not be completely transformed, so he rushed over immediately. A serious punch. He roared and punched the pupa shell surrounding Aizen. This punch was Fangya's full blow, powerful enough to destroy a mountain. The powerful force shot straight into the sky, and a white shockwave visible to the naked eye spread out from Fangya's fist and flew away into the distance. Boom boom. Countless stones and dust flew up, forming beautiful landscapes high in the sky. But the pupa shell didn't move at all, still extremely strong. Not even a single fist seal was left, which surprised Fangya. So hard. The Spirit King stepped forward, looked at the huge chrysalis, and shook his head. Now that he has the power of Ichigo Kurosaki, and also possesses Bengaiwo, it can be said that his strength has broken through to a very exaggerated level, and your attack will naturally not be able to break through the entire defense. So what should we do? Just waiting? Fangya said with a frown. If the spiritual king had no other choice, he was going to use the power of the holy words to open the chrysalis. The Soul King fell into silence, and Fangya understood instantly that there was nothing the Soul King could do to stop Aizen from evolving. If this is the case, then I will. Before Fangya could finish speaking, a voice from behind interrupted him. I have a solution. I saw a person walking out from the side. The person was wearing Quincy clothes and glasses on his face. It was Uriu Ishida. He pushed his eyes and said, now our leader is dead, and I understand everything. Now that we have reached the point, I will fight side by side with you. This couldn't be better. Fangya said with great joy. Uriu Ishida is very powerful and extremely talented. You must know that Wiwak accepted him as his disciple and wanted him to be the next leader of the Quincy. Ishida Uriu nodded, and he immediately used the Spirit Sun to construct a spirit bow. Look at me, the arrow that will pierce the sky. I saw the spiritual bow gathering energy crazily, forming a giant light arrow about 10 meters long, exuding terrifying energy, and shot towards the pupa. At this time, Aizen also felt danger inside, so he transformed crazily and forced himself to speed up. But before he could complete the transformation, the giant light arrow had already arrived. Boom! There was a huge explosion, and a strong plume of smoke suddenly rose up, forming a shockwave that spread in all directions. The power of this move is very terrifying, it directly breaks the defense of the pupa shell, and even Aizen inside is affected. Poof! Aizen couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Just now, he was interrupted by Ishida Uriu at the critical moment, causing his transformation not to be perfect. He snorted coldly, spiritual energy surged out, and the pupa shell shattered, and he emerged like a butterfly from chrysalis. I saw that Aizen's form had completely changed. He had these white wings on his back, which were very beautiful, and his spiritual energy was like a strip of cloth, wrapping himself. Moreover, his eyes were very strange, with 7 colors surrounding the black pupils. You are so damned. I was so close to evolving into my perfect form. Aizen gritted his teeth and looked at Ishida Uriu in front of him, wishing he could swallow him in one gulp. But Ishida Uriu pushed up his glasses and said with a smile, this is a good thing for us. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 428. Don't be complacent. Even if I don't achieve the perfect transformation, defeating the 3 of you is enough. After saying that, Aizen immediately rushed towards Fangya and the others. His speed was very fast, and he was in front of Fangya and the others in the blink of an eye. Die! 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 3 voices shouted in Aizen's mouth, and Aizen's eyes instantly burst into flames. The flame cut through the air like a meteor and flew towards Fang Ye. And just when the flame was about to reach Fang Ye, the Spirit King on the side clasped his hands on his chest, and symbols flashed in his eyes. Golden runes flew out from his hands and turned into discs, blocking Aizen's attack. Boom! The rune exploded instantly, erupting with a powerful force that actually crushed the Spirit King's defensive rune. The Spirit King frowned. He didn't expect that he didn't block it, and Fang Ye had already stepped aside. Instead of retreating, he moved forward and launched a fierce attack at Aizen. Fang Ye was originally good at close combat, and with the blessings of the holy words and the ultimate intention Kung Fu, he could be said to be as unstoppable as the god of war descending to earth. Even Aizen couldn't help but keep retreating, trying to avoid Fang Ye's attack. A serious punch. Seeing that his attack was ineffective, Fang Ye once again activated the power in his body. Black thunder and lightning emitted from his body and instantly condensed into a huge fist. Aizen saw the scene and cursed in his heart, "Damn it, how could he have such a powerful thunder element? This is not like the element he cultivated at all." Aizen couldn't understand that this was actually the ability of Waiwak to give Fang Ye Sheng's writing. It has to be said that although he had a small victory over Fang Ye in terms of strategy, in terms of actual combat prowess, if he hadn't captured Kurosaki Ichigo's power now, he might not have been Fang Ye's opponent. Thinking of this, Aizen couldn't help but feel a strong murderous intention in his heart. He wanted to get rid of Fang Ye just because he became the chosen one. He already vaguely felt that if he would fail, it would probably be because of the situation in front of him. Fang Ye. Aizen has decided in his heart that no matter what the price, he must get rid of this person. Sword pressure. As Aizen shouted, the white wings behind him flapped violently, and a powerful shockwave erupted from the soul-cutting sword in Aizen's hand. Countless sword lights covered the sky, almost covering the entire sky, and then struck Fang Ye fiercely. Seeing all this, Fang Ye didn't dare to neglect. He quickly activated his ability of holy words and wrapped his whole body with the power of thunder. Then moved quickly to avoid these sword lights. There were too many of these sword rays. No matter how much he avoided, no matter how fast he was, the sword rays still continued to flow, pressing down on him airtightly. But then the Spirit King took action. He snorted coldly, stretched out his right hand, and countless spiritual energy formed a huge shield that appeared above Fang Ye, blocking the sword light. Bang 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 bang. There was a violent collision, and those spiritual energy shields shattered instantly, but the Spirit King finally blocked most of the attack power of Dao Guang, and only a very small part of the attack fell on Fang Ye. But Fang Ye has Chiyu's physique, and these two sword rays are of no help at all. "Are you okay?" Uriu Ishida asked hurriedly. Fang Ye nodded. At this time, the Spirit King said calmly, "You two will attack, and I will resist Aizen's moves?" After saying that, the Spirit King waved his arm slightly, white rays of light emerged around his body, and then enveloped his whole body, and his aura gradually increased. Boom boom. At this time, Aizen's figure was like a ghost, drawing out after images in mid-air, killing Fang Ye. Every time he stepped out, the ground would tremble, as if he was about to explode the void. Countless sword lights shot out of the sky again, but they were offset one by the white light of the Spirit King. Fang Ye and Ishida Uriu joined forces and attacked Aizen. Although Aizen is very strong, these three people are also top-notch fighters, especially Fang Ye, who is simply his nemesis. The superposition of various abilities made Fang Ye's body very hard. Most of his attacks were blocked by the Spirit King. Although a small number of them hit Fang Ye's body, they did not cause any damage. But Fang Ye's attack is very powerful, even he has to be careful to deal with it. Uriu Ishida on the side was much more restrained and only supported from the outside. After all, he was just a mortal body and couldn't withstand Aizen's punch. Must kill, serious beating. Fang Ye caught Aizen's opening and immediately used his own killing punch. I saw a series of destructive fists hitting Aizen, each punch carrying the power of thunder, making Aizen take a few steps back involuntarily. Although Aizen was hit by Fang Ye's punch, he was not seriously injured because his body was almost perfect now, so he was not afraid of Fang Ye's attack. But Fang Ye is not discouraged. He is now waiting for these fists to deliver a fatal blow. This is a very buggy skill. No matter what kind of person they are, as long as it is triggered, they can be instantly killed. Sure enough, after Fang Ye punched out, it hit Aizen's chest. He saw cracks appearing in Aizen's almost perfect body in an instant, extending outward in circles. This is... Aizen was shocked, he didn't expect such a result. The power of this punch was so powerful that even Aizen couldn't resist it. Puff! Aizen spurted out a mouthful of blood, his face as pale as paper. He looked down at his body and suddenly took a breath. I saw that in my body, there were densely packed marks, one after another, are densely packed, like spider webs, covering the body. And the location of this crack was actually right at his heart. This guy's power was so terrifying that it pierced my heart. Aizen couldn't help but think in his heart. His body gradually dissipated, and his entire body gradually became blurred. Did you win? Uriu Ishida asked hurriedly. No, Aizen will not die so easily. It was the Spirit King who spoke. Fang Ye also nodded in agreement. Aizen can now be said to be the final boss of the entire Forbidden Area. How could he die so easily? Sure enough, after Aizen's body gradually disappeared, the spirits suspended in the air immediately gathered from another direction and formed Aizen's body. It's really amazing. If I didn't have the skill of regenerating souls, I might really be beaten to death by you. But this also made me understand. It seems that my body at this stage is really not enough to deal with you, so let you experience my second transformation. After saying that, Aizen's body began to swell. Layers of scales were peeled off from the surface of Aizen's body, his hands were covered with sharp claws, and his legs became thicker. And his head actually grew 4 faces, with different shapes. He looked up at Fang Ye and the others, with a cruel smile on his face. Now is just the beginning, tremble, ants. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 429. Aizen now stretched out a hand and pointed to the sky. I saw a huge change in the sky instantly, and a huge storm vortex appeared, and it was also mixed with thunder and lightning, just like the end of the world. Void, the ultimate radiation burst. Suddenly, a huge half-skeleton appeared behind Aizen. It opened its mouth wide and formed 4 rings of increasing spiritual pressure in front of it, with a terrifying aura gathering in it. Fang Ye, be careful, this attack is not trivial. If you hit it even a little bit, it will immediately turn into ashes, not even the scum will be left. The Spirit King reminded. Fang Ye nodded. In fact, there was no need for the Spirit King to tell him that this move was probably extremely powerful. Even if his body was strong, he probably wouldn't be able to block the blow. Therefore, he could only use the power of the holy text to dodge this move with a quick movement. His whole body was filled with the power of thunder, which increased his movement speed. When he just used the ability of the holy word, Aizen's radiant break had already arrived. The terrifying spiritual pressure destroyed everything in front of him, and almost everything turned into smoke. Fang Ye moved quickly to escape from Radiate Po's attack range. His speed is getting faster and faster, but Radiation Po behind him is always just chasing him, and his speed is getting faster and faster. Just when Fang Ye was about to be affected by the powerful destructive power of Radiation Po, Ishida Uriu, who had been hiding aside for a long time, took action. He used the spirit sun to construct a rope and threw it towards Fang Ye. Fang Ye, catch it! Fang Ye hurriedly grabbed the spirit sun rope, and then Ishida Uryu pushed his eyes and shouted sternly. Spirit sun teleportation. In an instant, his and Fang Ye's bodies disappeared, and the next second they appeared in a venue dozens of kilometers away. At this time, they clearly saw Aizen's radiant break turning everything within dozens of kilometers around to ashes, leaving nothing behind. What a powerful move! The Spirit King also flashed over at this time. He looked at Aizen in the distance with a trace of solemnity on his face. No matter how powerful he is, we have to defeat him completely. Fang Ye said in a deep voice. Well, I just observed that Aizen's attack just now was in a cone-shaped range, so we don't need to hide backwards, we must move forward and to the left and right, so that we can avoid radiation break and get close to Aizen. Uryu Ishida said. Fang Ye nodded. As expected of Ishida Uryu, he caught the shortcomings of Aizen's attack in an instant. Good. Then let's go and defeat Aizen now. After Fang Ye finished speaking, he took the lead and rushed towards Aizen. He prefers close combat, so he only relies on his speed and powerful attack power. He roared loudly and punched Aizen. Ishida Uryu and Soul King both assisted Fang Ye from the side, and also attacked Aizen from the left and right. Seeing this, Aizen didn't show any signs of weakness. He also roared and rushed forward. He raised both hands at the same time, and purple light appeared on both palms, like two huge suns. The powerful forces collided with each other and exploded with a bang. The remaining energy of this power was still spreading, shocking both Soul King and Ishida Uryu to take 2 steps back. At this time, Aizen immediately grabbed his soul-cutting sword Kyoka Suijutsu, and suddenly saw 3 sword lights, and slashed towards Fang Ye, Soul King and Ishida Uryu respectively. His attack was very swift, giving no one any time to react. The Spirit King and Uryu Ishida used Kido defensive spells to resist, but the sword light was so terrifying that it directly destroyed their spiritual defenses, causing them to be seriously injured. Ishida Uryu spit out a mouthful of blood. The Spirit King also suffered some minor internal injuries. This guy is really difficult to deal with, it seems he must take action with all his strength. The Spirit King gritted his teeth and said. Yes, he is stronger than I imagined, we must go all out now. Uryu Ishida agreed. Okay, let's take action now and kill Aizen completely. As he finished speaking, the Spirit King's eyes suddenly erupted with 2 balls of black light, and the next moment, a huge shadow appeared behind the Spirit King. As time went by, the phantom of the Spirit King became larger and larger, and finally its diameter exceeded 100 meters. Roar! The Spirit King let out a roar, and then flew towards Aizen. Aizen did not want to be outdone at all, and directly waved the soul-cutting sword Kyoka Suijutsu in his hand, slashing at the Soul King. As for the ghost of the Soul King, when the soul-cutting sword Kyoka Suijutsu was about to strike, he suddenly stretched out his hand and grabbed Kyoka Suijutsu tightly. Click! Jinghua Shuiyu was directly torn apart by the big hand of the Spirit King's shadow, shattered into powder and disappeared between heaven and earth. What? Aizen looked at the scene in front of him in horror. He had an absolute advantage just now, but why was he suddenly defeated by the Spirit King's move? At this time, the ghost of the Spirit King had already arrived in front of him and slapped him hard on the head. And Uryu Ishida suddenly appeared in front of Aizen and shot the sacred destroying arrow. Fang Ye had also arrived behind Aizen, and he punched Aizen in the back of the heart. Now the 3 of them have used all their strength to kill Aizen completely at this moment. Haha, you are indeed very strong, but you are no match for me. After saying that, Aizen instantly burst out with powerful spiritual pressure, knocking all 3 of them away. At the same time, the radiation blast on his body unfolded again, and he rushed towards the 3 Spirit Kings crazily. This time, his radiant blast actually enveloped him in all directions, making it impossible for the three of them to dodge. Not good. Fang Ye was shocked. The radiation power of this radiation break was so overbearing that their bodies couldn't withstand it for long, so if they didn't run away quickly, their demise would be waiting for them. At this time, the Spirit King instantly released a powerful protective shield to protect the three people. The powerful radiation burst instantly enveloped the three of them. Cracks appeared in the protective cover of the Spirit King, and gradually expanded. However, with the support of the Spirit King, it still did not break. A full minute. The Soul King held onto Aizen's radiation for a minute before he couldn't help but let go. At this time, the radiation poker also stopped, and the Spirit King could hardly stand up. His face was extremely pale, and it seemed that he was exhausted of his spiritual energy. Fang Ye secretly gritted his teeth, looked at Aizen, and thought about countermeasures. The current Aizen is indeed very powerful. I am afraid that the three of them are no match for Aizen now. What should I do? Fang Ye, I have a way to trap Aizen for 3 seconds. How about you take the opportunity to kill him? This is the only chance. Uriu Ishida pushed up his glasses and said. I understand, so let's start now. Fang Ye also knew that there was no hope for the Spirit King now. He could only see if Ishida Uriu's method worked. Even if the chance was only 1 in 10,000, he would give it a try. Okay, Spirit Child Bondage. Ishida Uriu released a large number of spirit seeds in an instant, and frantically wrapped around Aizen. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 430. Aizen felt like he was stuck in a quagmire, unable to move at all. His mind was spinning, and he immediately activated the soul-cutting sword Jinghua Shuiyu, hoping to absorb these spirit children. But at this time, Fang Ye had already arrived in front of Aizen. He roared and punched with all his strength. This was the strongest blow due to Saitama's physique. The powerful aura of destruction directly enveloped Aizen, and then hit him hard. Poof! Aizen spit out a large mouthful of blood and flew backwards, breaking many trees and creating a deep hole in the ground. He also passed out directly. The power of this punch was extremely terrifying, punching directly through Aizen's chest. But what surprised Fang Ye was that Aizen was not dead yet, still alive. Haha, my body is almost perfect now. I won't be killed by you at all. Moreover, an injury like this can be cured in almost one breath. Do you now know how scary I am? Aizen recovered immediately while taking a breath, without even leaving a scar. Ye was taken aback, and King Ling hurriedly said, Fang Ye, attack his heart. Wherever there is Bengaiwa, it is also the thing that allows him to obtain the power of Kurosaki Ichigo. As long as he is destroyed, Aizen will definitely die. After the Spirit King finished speaking, Fang Ye took a quick look and found that there was indeed a small hole in Aizen's heart. Where was the broken jade? Fang Ye took action immediately and prepared for the next attack, but Aizen was already prepared. He immediately raised his hand to restrain the rushing Fang Ye with his spiritual power, and then smiled and said, Do you think I will let you come closer? To be honest, you are the biggest threat to me among the three of them, so as long as I kill you, everything will be over. Go to hell, Fang Ye. I saw Aizen raising his soul-cutting sword high and preparing to slash at Fang Ye. Fang Ye's pupils shrank, knowing that this was a very critical moment. He struggled to break away from Aizen's spiritual power, but he didn't know what kind of spell it was. He couldn't break free at all, so he could only watch helplessly. Aizen's soul-cutting sword fell. Phew! At this moment, a sharp blade suddenly cut off Aizen's arm, and then fell together with the soul-cutting sword. Aizen was startled and looked back, only to find that it was Jin Ichimaru. It's you. You're not dead yet. Ichimaru Jin sneered and said, You are not dead yet, how could I die? In fact, I have been hiding here for a long time, just for this time. After saying that, Ichimaru-jin stabbed his soul-cutting sword towards Aizen's heart. Huh, just you want to kill me? It's really wishful thinking. After saying that, Aizen snorted, his severed arm instantly grew out, and then with a gentle grab, he smashed Ichimaru-jin's soul-cutting sword into pieces, and then strangled his neck. To be honest, I never understand why you want to kill me. I don't remember doing anything to feel sorry for you, right? Aizen said slightly strangely. Ahem, did you think I would tell you? Ichimaru-jin said mockingly. Yeah. Then die. A fierce light flashed in Aizen's eyes, and then he tried hard to break Ichimaru-jin's neck. But suddenly Fang Ye's voice came from behind. Aizen, you are the one who is going to die? Aizen was startled. He turned around quickly, only to see Fang Ye break free while he grabbed Ichimaru-jin, and then punched himself in the heart. Not good. Aizen wanted to use Kido to dodge the blow, but due to the close distance between the two, and the speed of Fang Ye's punch, his heart was pierced almost as soon as Aizen had the idea. The entire Bengaya was shattered. Impossible, how could I die? Aizen looked at his chest in disbelief. He didn't believe that Fang Ye actually killed him. Aizen. Although you have obtained the power of Kurosaki Ichigo's chosen son, you are going against the trend, so naturally you will not end well. Fang Ye gasped and said. He retracted his arm. Aizen shivered in pain and looked at Fang Ye with a helpless expression. Is that really the case? After saying that, the body fell downwards, and then the entire body began to disintegrate, and finally dissipated completely. Finally, win. Fang Ye breathed a long sigh of relief. This forbidden area is indeed very powerful, with countless powerful enemies. Fortunately for Fang Ye, anyone else might not be able to survive the whole situation. Fortunately, I finally cleared the entire forbidden area. At this time, the forbidden area passage has also been opened, and Fang Ye can leave the entire forbidden area at any time. Fang Ye, are you okay? I saw Shumanzi, Kukaki Rukia and others also hurried over and asked. They had been fighting against the Daigzu who entered the quiet spirit courtyard just now. They had defeated those Daigzu with great difficulty, and they hurriedly wanted to come over to support Fang Ye. But as soon as they arrived, they found that Fang Ye had already solved Aizen. It's okay, this forbidden area is finally completed. Well, Fang Ye, thanks to you, otherwise I wouldn't know how to clear the entire forbidden area by myself. Shumanzi said with some fear. Although she has gained the power of death and her strength has improved a lot, she can barely deal with some Daigzu, but she is no match for others. The passage has been opened, shall we go back now? Shumanzi suggested. At this time, the Spirit King also came over. His current situation was extremely unstable. On the one hand, he consumed too much strength to deal with Aizen, and on the other hand, because he had been sealed for a long time, his spiritual power had already been exhausted. Are you okay? Spirit King. Fang Ye asked worriedly. Don't worry, it will last for a while. During this period, I will impart my power to Kurosaki Ichigo and Ishida Uryu. I plan to accept them as my disciples and maintain the Soul Society after my death. Spirit King said. Behind him stood Ishida Uryu and Kurosaki Ichigo. Among them, Kurosaki Ichigo was a little reluctant to leave. He had already woken up and understood everything. He also knew that Fang Ye was about to leave, and he had a lot to say, but in the end he just walked up silently and hammered Fang Ye on the chest. Take care, if you come again next time, I will definitely compete with you to see who is stronger between us. Fang Ye also smiled and said okay, if there is a chance, I will definitely come here again and compete with you. To be honest, he has been with Kurosaki Ichigo for such a long time, and he has already regarded him as his life and death brother, otherwise he would not have broken into Sui Palace alone to save him. The time of the passage is almost over. Fang Ye glanced at everyone, and it had to be said that due to the continuous battle, very few people survived, and he even wanted to stay. But he also knew that he had to go out. After all, there were agents of gods outside. Wait for him to deal with it. Goodbye, Kurosaki Ichigo, goodbye, Soul King. I just hope we can meet again next time. Fang Ye said silently in his heart, and then turned around and walked into the forbidden passage with Shumanzi, leaving the world of death.